Wildfires rage across continents. Rivers that once fed civilizations run dry. Glaciers melt, oceans warm, and once thriving ecosystems collapse under the weight of pollution, deforestation, and climate change. Billions of people are affected by food insecurity, clean water shortages, climate migration, and increasingly extreme natural disasters. At the same time, nations and corporations are pouring unprecedented amounts of money into rockets, satellites, moon bases, and missions to Mars. So the question echoing across living rooms, classrooms, and political chambers is louder than ever. Why are we spending trillions on space when Earth itself is on life support? Is this a noble vision of the future, or a reckless act of escapism? To many, it feels like we're investing in lifeboats while the ship sinks. Elon Musk wants to colonize Mars. NASA is reviving lunar missions. China and India are racing to explore the moon and deep space. Private space companies are promising tourism, asteroid mining, and orbital factories. Meanwhile, back on Earth, over 9 million people die every year due to pollution-related causes. Over 800 million people lack access to clean drinking water. Entire island nations are disappearing beneath rising seas. And yet, the global space economy is expected to exceed $1 trillion within the next 2 decades. Where is that money going? And should it be spent here instead? Let's break it down. When we say trillions on space, we're not talking about a single government or billionaire. We're talking about a global effort: military satellites, Earth monitoring systems, scientific missions, telecommunications, and commercial launches. In the United States, NASA's annual budget is around $25 billion, less than 0.5% of the federal budget. To put that in perspective, Americans spend more on pet food each year than the entire U.S. space program. The rest comes from international agencies and private investment. Much of this funding doesn't go into space, it stays on Earth. It pays engineers, scientists, manufacturers, and contractors. It fuels education, research, and innovation. It builds satellites that monitor Earth's climate, help forecast hurricanes, detect deforestation, track illegal fishing, and map global emissions. These systems provide critical data to policymakers, emergency responders, and environmental agencies. So ironically, space technology is one of our most powerful tools in saving Earth. Without satellite data, we wouldn't even know how fast our planet is changing. Still, people ask, what about deep space exploration? What about the billions spent sending rovers to Mars, orbiters to Jupiter, or building rockets capable of interplanetary travel? Aren't those resources better spent fixing the problems we face here and now? It's a valid concern. But here's the twist: space exploration drives innovation in ways few other industries can. The technologies developed for space missions have transformed life on Earth. From medical imaging and water purification to solar panels, wireless communication, and even the memory foam in your mattress, many of these breakthroughs began as space research. By pushing the boundaries of what's possible, we often stumble upon solutions to problems we didn't even know we had. And then there's the long-term argument: survival. Earth is vulnerable. Asteroid impacts, supervolcanoes, nuclear war, climate collapse, history has shown that extinction events are not just theoretical. If we want humanity to endure for the next 1,000, or million, years, we must become a multiplanetary species. This doesn't mean abandoning Earth. It means having a backup plan. Think of it as digital data. You don't store everything on one drive, you back it up in the cloud. The same principle applies to civilization. But there's also the psychological argument. Space inspires. It gives us a sense of perspective, unity, and possibility. When astronauts look down on Earth from orbit, they don't see borders or nations. They see a fragile blue world, suspended in darkness. This overview effect often changes their lives, and their worldview, forever. What if more people thought that way? What if investing in space was also investing in global empathy and long-term thinking? Yet, there's a dark side to this narrative. If space becomes the new frontier for wealth, power, and colonization, who decides who gets to go? Will it be only the rich, the powerful, the connected? Will Earth become a slum while orbital cities sparkle with privilege? Already, we're seeing billionaires launch themselves into low Earth orbit for joyrides, while communities below struggle to access healthcare or clean air. This raises ethical questions about fairness, accessibility, and moral responsibility. Should space be a sanctuary for all, or a playground for the few? And who governs space? International law, like the Outer Space Treaty, says space belongs to all humanity. But these treaties are decades old and largely unenforceable. As companies begin claiming resources on the moon or asteroids, a legal and political storm is brewing. If we aren't careful, space could become a new battlefield for geopolitical control and exploitation. So what's the answer? It's not space or Earth. It's space and Earth. We need to invest in both. We need to hold space agencies and companies accountable, ensuring that their work serves humanity, not just shareholders. We need to link space spending to sustainable goals here at home: clean energy, climate monitoring, disaster response, global education. And we need to make sure that space doesn't become a reason to give up on Earth, but a reason to fight harder for it. Because this planet, for all its pain and imperfection, is still our only home. And while the stars may one day welcome us, Earth is where our story began. So the next time someone asks, why spend money on space while Earth is dying? Ask them this. What if space is the very thing that helps us save it?